I've also heard the claim made that we need to extend all the tax cuts to give us time to reform the tax code. Well, we absolutely need to reform the tax code. It is badly broken, and I'm certainly willing to discuss a fast-track process for getting that done. But there's absolutely no reason, not one, that we need to extend the tax cuts for the rich as a precondition for reforming the tax code. And when we do get to work on this, Republicans are going to have to accept that tax reform is not going to be a backdoor way for them to sneak through more tax cuts for the rich, and it's going to have to raise revenue to help rein in the deficit and debt. Now, in addition to the expiration of the Bush tax cuts, we also face a $1.2 trillion in automatic spending cuts. As you all remember, sequestration was included in the Bipartisan Budget Control Act to give both sides an incentive to compromise. But Republicans weren't willing to offer any concessions to get to a deal. And now they want to have their cake and eat it too. They want all the deficit reduction, but without any of the bipartisan compromise of shared sacrifice. You know what? If Democrats were willing to accept a wildly imbalanced deficit reduction plan to avoid the automatic cuts, we would have done that back in the super committee. We didn't then, we will not now. So anyone who tells you sequestration is going to simply disappear because both sides want to avoid it is either fooling themselves or trying to fool you. It is going to have to be replaced, and that replacement is going to have to be a balanced plan. We are also not going to allow just the defense cuts to be replaced without addressing the domestic spending cuts that would be devastating to the middle class. None of the automatic cuts are good policy. They were packaged together in a bipartisan fashion to get both sides to the table, and they will be replaced or not as a package. Here in D.C., the defense cuts get most of the attention, but across America, all the automatic cuts would be deeply damaging to our families and our communities. That is exactly why I've been working across the aisle with Senator McCain on legislation calling for an analysis of the impact of sequestration across both defense and non-defense spending. And I'm hopeful that that information will help us bring the same spirit of bipartisanship to a balanced and bipartisan approach to replace those automatic cuts. Because once again, I will not agree to a deal that throws middle-class families under the bus and forces them to bear this burden alone.